Hello, everyone. This is me, the host of the OLP channel. For those who don't know this channel, this is not the typical videos or the typical format that this channel does. It has changed a lot, but I want to maintain the old format as well. I want to do both things. So to explain briefly, just a small, short introduction. This channel was born out of the need to have a communication, independent communication channel in the region, in the specific small region that I live in. But then I felt the need to extend the horizon. I felt the need to start to do episodes or interviews in English. I felt the need to start to cover more than the local politics and the micro subjects of my region and town, which is a small town. And so I started to do another segment. Every time I come up with an idea, I create a new segment. So this one it's like I said previously, it's not the format I feel most comfortable with, but sometimes I really need the space to have complete freedom and to express some of my thoughts of the current reality of the things happening around us in our society and in specifically in the Western world, the so-called Western world. And so I've few days ago I started to do this kind of videos. I hope you like them. If you do, please subscribe, like, or do not like. It's up to you. But help us. We have a goal now to reach the 1,000 subscriptions in YouTube. I do not intend to make any profit or any money at all on this. I'm a full-time worker. I live from my wage. And yeah, okay. Let's. The introduction has gone too long. You'll be hearing about this in the future. What I wanted to talk today was about liberty and freedom. I've been into politics for quite a while now, since I was a teenager, and even I couldn't say before. Yeah, when I began to think about the world around me, I do remember the fall, for example, the fall of the Soviet Union. I was 13 years old, and I remember gathering with some friends early in the morning, and one of them comes, "Did you hear what happened last night? It was a coup in the Soviet Union." And that actually, although I was not really aware of everything I am today. I was only 13, but it actually saddened me, that news, because I had the feeling that something big was about to change in the world, and that it wouldn't be positive, at least the way things happened. I couldn't explain how or why, or I couldn't make any predictions, but it turns out that my feeling was true, because after the fall of the Soviet Union came the unipolar world, and everyone was in the Western world was quite, I must say, happy. Most of the communist organizations lost a lot of strength due to that blow in the Western world. Many of the countries that the Soviet Union supported throughout the globe declined economically, severely, had a severe economic decline, and the start of the unipolar world began, and that led us where we are today. So what seemed to be a good thing for many of the liberals and social democrats in the Western world turned out to be what we have today. But still, liberty and freedom are still are claimed to be the main values of Western society, and now more than ever they are claimed every time an official spokesperson by the United States, by the United Kingdom, France, Germany comes to speak. They always mention this liberty and freedom and the fight against, in this case, Russian imperialism. And I want to break this down a little bit. I think about it, and it's well, it becomes quite obvious that this is many of these recent speeches are quite paradoxal, to say the least. I don't want to repeat the word hypocrisy, but for example, everyone claims, the official narrative claims that Ukraine is fighting for liberty, is defending the freedom in the Western world, and so we have to support it no matter what, right? Meanwhile, our economies are declining, the wages shrink, facing the in face of the inflation. More and more money appears out of nowhere to be poured into the war machine, and we have statements by high officials like, for example, Podolyak. If you know, that is he belongs to, is an assessor to Zelensky's cabinet, and his recent declarations, he put out the idea that the Chinese and the Indians have low intellectual potential, and I mean, and this is for someone who claims to be at the forefront of the fight for liberty and freedom. This kind of communication, it really sucks. I mean, Ukraine should do much better. I don't know what kind of people we are aligning with, but I have the feeling that we chose the worst kind to align with or to defend the goals. Of course, this has nothing to do with Russian imperialism. This has to do with the ideological group that was set up and supported by the West, mainly by the US, in a typical color revolution, which was a coup, and which is quite fascist, because declarations like this shouldn't come lightly by someone who is aligned with the West. Shouldn't come lightly. This is all I've been taught growing on this side, specifically in Portugal, which we had a revolution in the 70s that gave us freedom and liberty. I always knew or was told about these values were like freedom of speech was like the most important thing we've conquered. And it's like a sacred thing. No one should tell the other person or coerce the other person of what to think and what to say. About what to think and what to say. So, and then you have this Podolyak guy coming out and saying that generalizing billions of people have low intellectual potential. This is, I mean, this reminds a little bit of those NAZIs guys, to say the least. And talking about the ability or the sensitivity of the communication, the apparatus that the Ukrainian government puts forward. I always have to point this out. It's the Ukrainian government I am criticizing. I will never criticize a people for itself or generalize about a people. Not even Americans. Don't take it wrong. Don't take it wrong. But yes, it's the American government policy supporting the this puppet government in Ukraine. That is actually, I hold it very responsible for the situation. But anyway, so they have. I don't know where they find these people. They found this spokesperson for the army, and I before making any considerations, I'm gonna show you what this is all about. And if you have grown like me in an environment of freedom, of free speech, of freedom of opinion, of freedom to disagree, let me know in the comments what you think about what I'm going to show you next. Just give me one sec here. Right.
Russia hates the truth that their obsessive focus on a Ukrainian volunteer is simply allowing the light of the Ukrainian nation's honesty to shine brightly. Next week, the teeth of the Russian devils will gnash ever harder, and their rabid mouths will foam in uncontrollable frenzy as the world will see a favorite Kremlin propagandist pay for their crimes. And this puppet of Putin is only the first. Russia's war criminal propagandists will all be hunted down, and justice will be served as we in Ukraine are led on this mission by faith in God, liberty, and complete.
I mean, what in the world was that? What is that? I mean, what's it? What does it accomplish? What is the message you get across? Is this the bastion of liberties and freedom defense? Is this the people we're supposed to trust to defend, to be at the forefront of Western liberties? It's simply insane. This should put any person. I mean, I don't even care of how you think of the situation in this conflict, or if you understand it or not, if you side with one or another side. Just by looking at this, being raised in a true sense of freedom, being taught what freedom really was, and respecting and upholding that value very highly. I mean, looking at this doesn't look good. I mean, the person looks a psychopath, to say the least. And I've seen more of these examples. And one has to think about what we are supporting, what we are funding. And bear in mind that the ones that are funding the war are not the ones that have the means to fund it. It's the working class people who is funding the war. It's people like you and me who go to work, who do their schedules, who do their jobs, who make the profits for the capitalists. We are the ones who are paying for the wages of these people. And if you come to think of it, when you have declarations by high officials in the European Union, like Josep Borrell, when he claims that Europe is a garden and the rest of the world is a jungle, in what I think it is a remark highly embedded in the colonial spirit. When you think again, this should come as no surprise, but it still astonishes me. I mean, you can be whatever you want. I mean, if you want to be an NAZI, you are an NAZI. You have the freedom to do it. But freedom should not conflict with other people's freedom. And what this person is doing here is making blatant threats. So it says it will hunt down all the Kremlin propagandists. And I would like, for example, to know what is a Kremlin propagandist. Am I a Kremlin propagandist? By stating what I think, by using my free speech right? what is it? What is it? Because if you, I tell you one thing, if you that are very angry and very, I like some words in English. I'm sorry for that. Some adjectives I'm lacking here. But if you are like outraged with what's happening and what Russia is doing and etc. and all, because it's violating human rights and all that, you should pay attention to this a little bit closely, and it should make you wonder, right? And at the same time, if you are that person that are completely outraged with this conflict, I might ask you, where were you when, I don't know, an astronomical number of people were being killed in Iraq and still suffer today the consequences of the so-called delivering of democracy? Where were you when Syria, a sovereign government, was being invaded and still is partly occupied by US forces? Where were your outrage when you see children being detained every day in the streets of Palestine? Underage, really small children. You have to think again if you're really outraged about this conflict and Russia's deeds. You have to think about the side that you defend and their own deeds. You have to be critical of your own society. I wanted to just to express this thought today, because once I watched this video, it really shocked me, and I had to share this again. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Feel free. I accept criticism, of course. I accept people who disagree with me all the time. This is when I created this channel and the podcast. I'm a left wing person, and one of my first guests was a neoliberal, right wing neoliberal person, and we discussed the ideas. And I'm happy to discuss any ideas, any political ideas with anyone. But there is a border, there is a line, and when you, I know when you claim to defend freedom, liberty, and you put a psycho as a spokesperson, threatening to kill you, I don't know if that's the best way to do it. Just bear that in mind. Thank you all. And of course, if you like this video, please subscribe, follow this channel, help it grow a little bit, help it enhance its contribution in the information space. Thank you very much. Tune in for the next one.